Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
This is the glorious one, Bobby Roode, and you're watching Going In Raw.
What's up, it's your girl, Sasha Banks, the Legit Boss, and you're watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, and available wherever podcasts can be found. We got another Raw in the books, and Randy Orton delivered what may be the promo of his career. I had goosebumps, literal goosebumps during this promo.
It was very good.
And this is sort of, I think I noticed somebody on Twitter within the context of our mentions, because I was live tweeting a little bit last night at Real Going In Raw over there on the Twitter. Somebody pointed out, I want to say it was Cody Miles, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, that this is sort of akin to the really cool build last year with Triple H and Batista, which we were both fans of.
Yeah.
This, I think, has a bit more emotional impact to it.
It does, and it seems, I like the kind of Randy's rationale. Mm-hmm. He did it to save Edge, was his reasoning effectively. And then he blamed Beth Phoenix for making it necessary for Randy to do anything. He referred to Beth as an enabler. Yeah. Said, you don't give a drug addict drugs. You don't mix a drink for an alcoholic. Yeah. If someone's addicted to the roar of the crowd, you don't say, yeah, go ahead and go wrestle again. Yeah. And it was all very good.
He went even further and said, "We're going to get to the full thing when we get towards the end of the recap, because obviously it was the main event segment." But he said, "I love your and I love that he names him by name. Mm-hmm. I love your children more than you love your children. Oof. I love Edge more than you love Edge, because look at what you're doing. This is your fault." Yeah, I loved all that. I thought that was great, and I thought that her taking that RKO, crossing that line. I thought was just it was masterful. We all sort of saw it coming. Yeah. But it's all in the build. It's all in the execution. Yeah. These days, oftentimes we're not too far off with our predictions for any given pay-per-views. No. But it's all in the execution. How do they execute it? Exactly. That being said, that was a highlight among few highlights last night. And otherwise, there were a couple of misfires on Raw last night.
Oh, you talk about the spider, huh?
No. You know what? I'll be honest. We can talk about that right now if you want. That spider, they did something. There was a reveal. Look, man, how many times have we seen them do something like this where they literally drop it? Vince is just like, okay, I'm bored with it, drop it. We don't need a reveal. That happens a lot.
Yeah, I know.
That happens a lot.
But I guess my point is having a reveal of something that's pretty silly.
There was no way it wasn't ever going to be silly, though. I know. There was no chance of that ever happening.
Thing where someone stomps on it and blood squirts everywhere. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, I know, but the problem is when it's one of our ideas, they don't use them. And that wasn't even my idea. I just saw that on a GIF somewhere somebody else did. And that's probably too grisly for a PG.
Well, they wouldn't have blood squirting everywhere, but have someone take the cage and stomp the hell out of it.
Yeah, I know. That would have been the best way out of it. But they're not.
And then you have to reveal anything, much less something you probably bought at Party City.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a... Even the giant spiders in Australia are not that thick, the huge ones that are that large, they have really skinny legs. There's no tarantula that I'm aware of that is literally a foot across, that thick and furry.
I'm not going to blame you for trying to insert some real science into this, man. So that's fine.
Well, here's the thing.
I was like, it's silly, it's stupid. I'm kind of over it anyways. Let's just actually see it through where we can see what the hell it is and then move on. And that's what they did last night. I was fine with the spider. I didn't care about that. It's a big, silly toy spider.
Yeah, it is a huge,
for a big, silly toy stupid spot. It was ridiculous. It was never going to go anywhere. I'm appreciative that they actually showed us what the damn thing was and move on. And it didn't take an extra year, and it wasn't Hornswoggle.
Well, yeah, and here's I kind of feel too, is all right, we're not going anywhere with this. Let's just do something. Go to the party store and see what kind of huge creepy thing you could find. We'll toss it in the box.
So one of the stories that we have been told.
But the thing is, we're never going to see that spider again, probably.
One of the stories. This is great, though. This is one of the stories. You're right. We're not. One of the stories that we've been told from a person we know that used to be in the writers' room at WWE had to do with hats. And they had a whole all the writers had a whole collection of hats that Vince was supposed to wear for some goofy segment, and then he had to choose one. I love the idea that last night or maybe Thursday, I don't know, a couple days ago, there was a writer's room, and they all brought out some prop, and Vince probably chose the prop, and it was a giant stupid spider. I didn't care enough about what was in the stupid cage in the first place, so why would I care if it's a dumb toy spider? I don't know. I didn't really care about that. I thought there were things that just felt like, okay, so I don't know. Let's just go through the show.
All right,
let's just go through the show.
So kicked off with this opening segment was pretty solid. It opens up with Brock and Paul Heyman coming down the ring. Heyman says he's making the case that the Mania main event is a sham. Refers to Drew as a hyped-up fraud because of how he eliminated Brock from the Rumble. He didn't do it kind of one-on-one. It required a low blow from Ricochet and then a subsequent Claymore to eliminate Brock. And because of that, he pretty much calls Drew a fraud and says next time Brock lays his eyes and hands on Drew, it's going to be over. And then he calls Drew the B word.
Yeah. Ooh.
This, of course, brings Drew to the ring.
Yeah.
He is completely unafraid of Brock Lesnar. He gets in the ring. He gets in Brock's face.
Yeah.
Stares him down. Brock's like laughing. Ha. All right. Fair enough. Backs away. Kind of circles around. Act like he's about to leave. Charges Drew. Drew just seemingly levitates Claymore.
He can do that for a dude his size. And this has been the case forever now. But it never ceases to amaze. His Claymores, seemingly out of nowhere, are a sight to behold.
They're the best.
They are really fun to watch.
So Drew gets up. He leaves. Sorry, he kips up, leaves.
He loves kipping up.
Oh,
because it is impressive.
He does it effortlessly.
Yeah.
He leaves. He stops at the top of the stage, kind of gives a smirk, goes backstage. Brock peels himself off slowly. He sold the hell out of this Claymore.
Yeah, he did.
He peels himself off the mat, stumbles out, starts making his way up the ramp. I don't know why he did this, but he's walking up the ramp backwards back to the stage, kind of like preening to the crowd, like trying to save face. Hey, I'm still champion. I'm still a tough guy.
This is a good time to mention it was a really great crowd last night. It was a terrific crowd.
Yeah.
And they were giving him, this was great, the na goodbye thing. And Brock was milking it. Heyman was milking it. The crowd was eating it alive.
Yeah.
It was really great.
It was really good. So Brock's pretty much on the foot of the stage,
yeah.
And we get a shot of Brock in the foreground facing towards the ring, and from screen right, Drew runs in.
Mm-hmm.
Brock turned around, bang, another Claymore. Drops him.
Crowd starts chanting for one more.
Yeah.
And then so Drew obliges.
Well, first he picks up the title, stands over Brock.
Was that first or was it after the third one?
It was first.
So
and then throws it down at him.
So I didn't personally hear this, but I know some people said that they heard Brock say, pick up the title, like shout it to him, pick up the title.
Yeah.
So that was planned.
Yeah.
Bad move on his part.
It's a month away. He's fine.
Don't touch. Okay. All right.
Baron literally sat on the throne after his first round match,
but
King of the Ring, and still won.
Baron just blasts through math all by himself.
And I feel like Drew is going to blast through some math.
All right, so he picks up the title. He looks like $1 million. Maybe it was like a float balloon to see Vince have Drew hold up that title. You know,
the crowd popped.
I want to see what he looks like. And then the crowd asks for another one. He gives another one.
It was great.
It was really great. He throws the title back at him or whatever. I forget if that was before.
Kips up like 5 times.
Kips up a bunch of times, and then that was it. I thought this was a really, really effective segment.
Hell yeah, man.
I do feel, though, a little bit like, and yeah, this, I don't know if this is nitpicky or not, but like, it seemed like a segment that was just sort of in a bubble as opposed to part of a larger story that they're telling. I feel like a lot of these segments with Drew post Rumble have been like out of sequence chapters, if you will. That being said, I thought it was fairly effective. What do you make in terms of what this means going into Mania? I mean, it's still a month away. There's still some stuff they can do.
Well, Brock's going to take the next month to save some measure of face.
Yeah, I think that after this,
so he's going to be essentially hunting for Drew.
I was hoping that would be a theme running through the episode, but Brock doesn't do more than one segment generally.
No, I guess you can play it off like, well, he was just totally humiliated there. He's going to take a week to regroup and come back probably in 2 or 3 weeks. He might be the show next week and start trying to chip away at Drew's confidence.
Yeah, and I want to see that. I want to see Drew basically limp into Mania after being ravaged by Brock Lesnar. I think that'd make for a more effective, as you like to say, fighting from underneath.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a much more effective way to go, because if it's just Drew beating up Brock every week, that's going to suck the drama out. And on top of that, it probably means Brock's going to win. So no, Brock needs to take this thing like several levels.
Oh yeah.
He needs to open up Drew.
So what is there's a month before Mania. So say Brock's on the next 4 episodes of Raw. At least 3 of those, he needs to leave Drew laying.
Yeah, and maybe
at least one time. Yeah,
in a puddle of Drew,
in a pool of blood. Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Probably on the go home.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. That'd be good. I think we both want to see that. But maybe this is, they're like, hey, we got out of the introductory phase. This is step 1 of a 4-step process.
Yeah.
That we're gonna tell now.
Yeah.
So
I guess I understand the point of like the stuff with MVP. It would have been more powerful if it was Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, someone along those lines who on TV Drew has had a relationship with. In terms of being a member of 3-man band and so forth.
Sure.
Having them come and say Jinder would have been perfect. I assume he's not healthy.
Jinder would have been perfect. Yeah.
I assume he's not healthy. Like if Jinder had come out and said, "Hey, let me guide you through the process of being champion. I've been there.
Yeah.
We have history. We are friends. We both did one of those Sheamus workout videos together when you tore your bicep in NXT."
Yeah.
He could go on, and Drew can just at the end of it say, "Thanks. I don't need your help though."
Yeah.
And have that, because then there's more meat to it than the MVP thing, where MVP had to go on and on how they were old friends, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
we have to take MVP's word for it.
Yeah,
if Jinder says it, we know that.
And on top of that, yeah, we talked about this before, and I always like this idea. Jinder, when he comes back, he's going to look amazing.
Yeah,
he's going to look jacked.
Yep.
And so I know a lot of people, and myself included, probably you too, don't necessarily take Jinder all that seriously. I think they could present him in a way that it's like, oh, wow, now I kind of do take him seriously.
Yeah. I think just him being in the ring opposite the Royal Rumble winner, and obviously he's not going to win the match, but putting forth a good contest against Drew.
Sure.
Could be something.
So beyond the fact that this next match really killed me in terms of my draft standings, I'm very happy that the Street Profits won the tag titles. I'm very happy about that. The now or never thing was such a telegraph for their win.
I know.
It was out of nowhere. It's not like they had did they have a title opportunity last week? Was that for no, it was at Saudi Arabia.
Royal, they had a title shot,
So they had that, but there was never like any granted, I'm not saying I want an authority figure on Raw. I don't think you need them to set up matches, but it never why was this now or never? Why was this like what motivated it story-wise for this to be now or never? At what point has anybody, wrestled for tag title or for any title, and then the next opportunity they're given, if you don't win it now, you'll never get another chance. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that.
Well, it seems like it's a stipulation that requires some build as opposed to just an announcement. But that happens so much with WWE these days, where things that would benefit from a build are just announced on Twitter.
But this was like extra, and maybe it's because it was only like a couple months ago that Cody had essentially his now or never in AEW, and that was totally motivated by story, and there was a great build and everything. And so it's when you wheel out a now or never thing, it's like, okay, well, they're just totally going to win.
What
right
they
here
really should have done
is
made the announcement last night. The match at Elimination Chamber was going to be now or never, and have the Street Profits win an Elimination Chamber.
All you had to do, even with this, if you want to do it for this, all you had to do was Seth come out. And they have to convince Seth to give him another title shot. And he says, fine, how about this? You really believe in yourself? Now or never. They say, just agree that you won't. And they have to commiserate a little bit. And they have to think about it. In any event, it was a really fun match.
It was fun.
And it would have worked. It did work great. It would have worked even more perfect the way it was sort of overbooked at the end, because it felt big as the culmination of a big build.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, it was a really fun match, and man, I'm really happy for those dudes because they definitely deserve it.
Hell yeah, man.
They've earned it.
They have. So the finish, excuse me, so Montez goes up top. Seth pushes him off to the floor, and Seth waves AOP down towards the ring while he's distracting the ref. And then right as they approach forward on the floor, the ref turns around, sees AOP. He tosses him.
Mm-hmm,
He tosses him. So AOP and Buddy, they're upset. They're up on the apron. They're arguing with the ref. And that allows Owens to run to the ring, hit a stunner on Seth. AOP and Buddy are like, hey, Owens is in the ring. And the ref's not turning around while this is all happening. So they get off the apron, chase Owens through the crowd. And while Buddy's starting to make his way through the barricade, Dawkins pounces him
Yeah.
into a office chair. That was great.
Yeah, it was out of nowhere. It was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then Ford hits a frog splash on Seth, pins him, new tag champions.
Oh, man.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely terrific. Absolutely terrific. There's a great picture of Triple H and them afterwards. He's got to be really, exactly. He's got to be really happy about that.
Oh, fantastic.
So no, that was really cool. Afterwards, Seth gave an interview backstage. He was asked about losing the titles, and I want a rematch at Chamber.
He says, given what I've done, I just don't ask for rematches. I demand them.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And then he says Kevin Owens can name the time, place, and stipulation because when he gets his hands on him, he's going to be crucified. I will give them so many points if they actually pull off a crucifixion.
I know.
Because, the history of that in WWE is not great.
No.
Anyways, after that, I'm actually kind of surprised they let him say crucified.
It's second week in a row, I think he said that.
He said it last week, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow.
So next is kind of in many sense, except for Riddick Moss, a low point on Raw. You had Ricochet take on Riddick Moss for the 24/7 title. Happy for Riddick Moss that he's getting a 24/7 title push because I think he has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Unless this is part of a larger storyline for Ricochet, which is entirely possible. Sucks for Ricochet.
Let's play best case, worst case. What's the best case scenario here? This is part of a storyline. Somebody on Twitter also mentioned, again, I need to start writing this stuff down or saving it so I can give some shout outs. Somebody on Twitter mentioned in our mentions last night, one of the friendos said, how great would it be if this was like him going to Seth's faction? He's like the newest member of Seth's faction. Yeah. I think that'd be terrific.
I believe he said that Ricochet could replace Buddy.
Yeah. Which is cool or not. Just add another member to the faction, I think that'd be terrific.
As long as there's a payoff, then it would make sense. But if they're just like, well, we need to get Riddick Moss over, who are we going to have in the ring against? Let's do Ricochet. He's popular, and he just got destroyed by Brock Lesnar. We can make the point that he's still suffering injuries from Brock, and it's not going to hurt him that much. Now,
worst case would be, let's see here, what Dave Meltzer... I'm assuming this is speculation. I don't know if there's an actual quote here. I'm getting this from our friends over at Wrestle Talk. Let's see here.
He's given up on Ricochet.
Meltzer is now reporting on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio that Vince McMahon is burying the former NXT star Ricochet because he's given up on him. I don't know how you give up on Ricochet.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that this is maybe one of those times where, and there's no quote here from radio, no transcript rather. I'm hoping this is him just speculating. He just sees, the writing on the wall, what it looks like. I have a hard time believing that Heyman would allow that to happen. But man,
yeah, who knows?
I mean, you can play out the story up until last night. Ricochet was the guy who crotched Brock at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Brock, in very dramatic fashion, destroyed Ricochet. You can make a story out of that. Mm-hmm. That doesn't necessarily mean the guy's buried. He just had a title shot literally last week.
Yeah, and he got destroyed to such an extent that his next match against the 24/7 title, he wasn't full strength. Didn't have enough in the tank to win.
There seems to be a story thread playing out
and commentary talked a lot about Ricochet still, nursing injuries for Brock. Look, he's grabbing his ribs.
Would you continue wearing trunks if you just got destroyed by Brock and then got destroyed by, but beat by Riddick Moss for the 24/7 title?
What he's more comfortable wearing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm superstitious like that. I'm like, man, these trunks are my losing trunks. I'm going back to pants.
I don't know. At the end of the day, if he's more comfortable in the shorts, and I guess that's what he's going to wear.
He's more comfortable taking his losses.
Apparently,
that's what's going to happen.
So Ricochet starts trying to use his speed advantage on Riddick. That works out until he eats a massive shoulder tackle. That was a hell of a sell.
Yeah.
Shoulder tackle.
Yeah. Let's just fast forward to the end.
All right. Well, Riddick
Moss wins.
I mean, they did have a story of this match where it was like Riddick just overpowering Ricochet, and he didn't really have to take advantage of the fact that Ricochet had his leg taped up.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to go after the leg.
Yeah.
And commentary was selling the fact that Brock beat him up so bad that he was still nursing those injuries. So Ricochet tries to pick up Riddick for the Benadryller. Can't. Moss hits him with some elbows. Ricochet responds with an enziguri. Tries for another kick. Moss catches that and does like a powerbomb clubbing blow type thing. And then follows up with his finisher, which is like a spike neck breaker.
Yeah.
To get the win. It's pretty shocking.
Yeah, it was. So we'll see how that all shakes out. I never know whether to be, You know, I never know how to take these things, man. It's like, you know, we hear that, you know, Meltzer said the exact same thing about Humberto Carrillo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he was in basically the main event last night. It was the main event match last night.
And he's got another U.S. title shot at Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Just announced.
Yeah. So, boy, that needs to be a fatal four-way with all the participants. Angel
really
Garza's special.
Should be at Mania.
Angel Garza's so special, man. God dang it. Oh, I want to see some like little vignettes with him and Andrade.
Oh, man.
I would love, and Zelina.
Yeah.
God, I would love that.
It's so good.
Anyways.
Next, we get a quick shot of the OC backstage. AJ is being really animated about beating somebody up. Mm-hmm. And then we see Asuka and Kairi backstage. Of course, Asuka was originally scheduled to face Shayna Baszler. She was reportedly injured, not cleared to wrestle.
Yeah, did we ever find out what that injury was? Because I was like, at a certain point, I was like, is this just going to be a work for her to get involved?
Apparently, she is having experienced some sort of wrist issues. I think this was on Cage Side Seats. But it's not so bad to keep her out of Elimination Chamber. Like, she could have wrestled last night.
Well, and she was also up on the apron. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I know there's
I think it's a situation where probably wisely they realized, oh, Shayna versus Asuka down the line would be money. Let's not give it away for free here on Raw.
I would hope they'd know that because that's totally true.
Yeah. After that, we had an AJ promo. He talks The Undertaker depriving him of the honor of winning that beautiful, beautiful trophy at Crown Royal. Talks about a video that I had seen of Mark Wahlberg trying to give AJ advice. Essentially, and he tosses the video, and essentially Wahlberg says, hey, AJ, here's my advice to you when you're dealing with The Undertaker. Just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ says, I should be in here celebrating with the good brother. Instead, I'm getting advice from Marky Mark. And AJ says, I'm not going to take his advice because it looks like I'm on a collision course with The Undertaker.
Say hi to your mother for me. You ever see the Andy Samberg's impression of Marky Mark on Saturday Night Live? He's like talking to goats and stuff.
Oh, no.
Say hi to your mother for me.
That's pretty funny. And then he says the match against Alistair Black tonight is a warning to Undertaker. Says the dead man's trying to hold on to a spotlight, but it's not his anymore. It now belongs to AJ Styles.
You're wrong about that, AJ.
Alistair comes to the ring. His match with AJ seemingly about to start, and then AJ grabs the mic and says, oh, you didn't read the contract, did you? It says in there, if you want to get to AJ Styles, you have to fight the toughest man in this building, Carl Anderson. And he gets in the Carl Anderson, gets in the ring, and goes, yeah, that's me.
So then we get Carl Anderson versus Alistair Black, where Carl Anderson does his favorite thing, and that's eat pins.
Yeah.
Alistair wins that match.
He must get paid by the pin.
Black mass, exactly. And then AJ's like, oh, I was mistaken about that contract thing. First up, you got to fight Doc Gallows over here.
Yeah.
And so Doc Gallows gets in. But he's happy to take the DQ loss. And
to soften up Alistair Black for AJ Styles, which he does.
With help from Carl Anderson and Magic Killer.
Carl Anderson and Magic Killer. So AJ gets in the ring, bell rings. He's in control because Alistair can barely stand.
Yeah. He ate a Magic Killer.
Yeah, he tries to make a comeback with some leg kicks, but he eats a nasty brainbuster. That brainbuster was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, yeah.
And then AJ hits a phenomenal forearm, pins Alistair, giving Alistair his first loss on the main roster.
Yeah, this is the most protected loss
Just
you
about.
could possibly take.
Just
though.
about.
I mean,
they have a match at Elimination Chamber. AJ and Alistair do.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how it's
no
gonna...
DQ.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, Alistair's totally gonna lose that one too, unless the Undertaker. I don't know. I got to think about that. Man, we're doing our predictions today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I got a lot of thinking to do.
Yeah. Next, Ruby Riott interview. She says the only person she's responsible now that she's no longer part of Riott Squad. In fact, there is no more Riott Squad. The only person she's responsible is Ruby Riott. And
she said it's nice. That is nice. That is nice.
It's like living on your own.
Exactly, man.
And
those were fun times.
Says she's going to
Smash City.
Says she's going to show the W Universe that there are no friends inside Elimination Chamber.
Well, yeah, that's true, man. Every person
there is no
for
friends
themselves.
in this next match.
I really appreciated that they're continuing on this Riott Squad
storyline
because Sarah Logan, a special guest referee. I like, it's like a mini Shield drama, but playing out on low budget TV or whatever.
Yeah. So Liv Morgan versus Ruby Riott, as you mentioned, Sarah Logan, special guest ref. Early on, Liv's going after Ruby's surgically repaired shoulders, what kept her out for 8 months, working that over. And then towards the latter half of this match, it was all about building beef between Ruby and Sarah Logan. So Ruby's lane strikes in the corner on Liv. Logan steps in, breaks that up. Ruby hits a flatliner on Liv, covers, and on the kick out, she actually kind of gets sent into Logan. And Logan's like, what the hell was up with that? Ruby goes for another cover. Liv kicks out at 2. Ruby gets in Sarah Logan's face and essentially says, learn to count. Pushes her. Liv rolls up Ruby from behind. Logan, with the fast count, gets Liv the win.
Yeah.
And so Ruby gets in Sarah's face. Logan pushes her. Liv then hits Riott with an enziguri. And then Logan destroys Liv Morgan with a knee.
Sarah Logan looked like she was chuckling through some of this.
I know.
Especially the bit where she yells at Ruby. She says something like, "Stop telling me what to do." But she has a goofy line to say. She, these are all like best friends.
It's like Eddie Adams talking to his mom at Boogie Nights.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good at things that are good. I know what to do.
But so I don't know. This is nice. This is good. I like this.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
After that, we have there's going to be some fun storytelling here in the chamber. None of them are going to win. Sorry, Dom. None of these people are going to win.
No.
So after that, we had Randy Orton lurking backstage.
In some dimly lit part of the arena.
Yeah. After that, we had No Way Jose backstage with his conga line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he runs in the row and
he's like, "Hey, man, look, it's been ages. Can we just please see what's inside that cage?" And Rowan had me cracking up here. He's like, "Hey, man, you know what? All this time, I'm just waiting for somebody to come up to me and respectfully ask what's in the cage."
This whole setup, you can totally see. They're just getting rid of this.
Yeah, I know, but
getting rid of it.
Rowan was cracking me up, man.
He was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
He's very congenial.
He's probably happy to be rid of this stupid thing also.
So he gets the cage and he pulls out
and he like puts his hand on it, so he's like, "Come here, man.
Yeah,
I'll show it to you."
And pulls out a giant fake spider. It was like somewhat animatronic.
It was the animatronic.
Legs are doing this a little bit.
Yeah, and he's all laughing. He's like, "What? Don't you want to pet it?" And everybody goes running off.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It was funny. It ain't worth caring about. At least they did something with it. I'm fine with it. After that, we had.
Like they could have found a better fake spider. It's a bad fake spider.
I guarantee one of them writers probably came up with something much better.
Yeah, probably.
And Vince is like, "No, this one," because this is all about making Vince laugh.
Yeah, no, this giant fake hairy spider.
There are times
there's no spiders on this earth that actually look like this, Vince.
There are some moments when I can just kind of appreciate that Vince has this entire empire, and sometimes he just does stuff to make himself laugh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't appreciate it. Sometimes I do. After that, Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler.
Before the match began, we had a promo from Asuka and Kairi Sane. Asuka says Shayna is lucky tonight because she got hurt. And Kairi says, "I got this. I'm hungry for Shayna."
Yeah.
Everybody's making biting references.
It's great. Asuka and Kairi are great.
Yeah, man.
They're like my favorite things in WWE.
So a constant through this is Asuka trying to distract Shayna. And there's one point that I really liked where Kairi is getting worked over pretty good, and here Asuka ringside just going, Kairi,
yeah,
come on, Kairi,
yeah.
I thought that was great.
No, it was really good. It was really good because like their roles are kind of switched now. Kairi was she was fighting this babyface, and Shayna was
totally,
the heel.
Totally.
Shayna, this was the most. This episode was the most Rocky III we've had so far because Shayna was so Mr. T.
Yeah.
When Mr. T is fighting these chumps, and Kairi's not a chump, but, making quick work of these guys, and, like, Mickey's in the audience, or maybe it was Paulie who's in the audience, and then, like, Rocky is making quick work of these chumps that, Paulie's feeding him, and Mr. T's in the audience.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then Becky comes out during this.
Well, here, let's get to the spot, because Shayna's in control, Asuka hops on the apron, so this distracts Shayna. Sane goes for a roll-up, gets a 2. Falls with Shayna kicks out, kicks Kairi in the head, gets a 2. So while she's getting from that, Becky comes down. The commentary, she's got like a furry, long yellow coat, sparkly sunglasses on. Oh man!
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Rocky 3, and like he even wears thematically he's wearing yellow during it.
Yeah.
And he's got like these this during some sequence. I don't know if it was a retirement speech or whatever, but like he's got. Like a yellow, it's just very Rocky 3.
Yeah.
And
well, she is. It's the parallels because she's referred to herself as Becky Balboa several times.
Sure. Yeah. Oh,
she wears the black and yellow Rocky did in the first 2 movies.
This is totally spot on. This is somebody's idea to basically just redo Rocky 3.
So we go to commercial. We come back. Becky's at commentary and she's taken Lawler's crown.
Yes.
And put that on her head.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic image.
It is.
It's amazing.
It's terrific.
It's amazing.
It's terrific.
So we come back. Becky's on commentary. Kairi has the upper hand. She goes up top. Shayna meets her up there, hits a gut-wrench suplex. Shayna hits some knees. She eats a spear from Kairi. Kairi goes up top, goes for the elbow. Shayna gets her feet up, and looks like Kairi kind of took that one in the jaw, too. Mm-hmm. Puts Kairi in the clutch, and she basically taps out immediately. So Shayna lets go. Is like, I'm going to do it some more. Puts Kairi back in the clutch, and then Becky's up on the stage yelling at her, I'll fight you right now.
And it's a lot of hubris, and it's a lot of just cartoonish, like, in a very clownish manner, like challenging her. I'll do it right now. We'll fight right now if you want to fight right now.
Yeah.
And Shane is just like, I'm just waiting. I'm going to go through the chamber. I'm going to go through everybody there, and then at Mania, I'm going to take your title. And that's going to happen, by the way. After that, we had Ray and Humberto at the gorilla position doing an interview. Ray says Humberto, he gets back up when he gets knocked down, even if he's fighting his family. Humberto says, mi familia es muy importante, pero mi primo, pero no mi primo, not my cousin. That was kind of cool because I understood every word he said.
I understand most of it.
Yeah. I mean, familia is pretty easy. Yeah. Importante is pretty easy. Now you know what primo means. Cousin.
Oh, that's cousin?
Cousin,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. And then, Ray concludes that this feud will end when they want it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good stuff.
So this was a pretty fun match.
Oh, my God. They gave it tons of time.
Yeah, they did.
It ran through multiple commercials.
Yeah, they did.
And, dude, I can't get enough of Angel Garza.
He's the best, man.
He's the best. And they give him, it's obvious, they're giving him so much leeway for this character stuff. He comes down, he jumps the barricade to grab a kiss from Grandma.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's terrific stuff. I loved, because 9 times out of 10, he's the guy who does the pants.
Oh, yeah, the way they work the pants in this time.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, so let's step
I'll
in
let
right
you
there.
do whatever you want to do on this one.
Andrade, he's doing the tranquilo pose. Riott tries to go for a drop kick, and Garza runs in front of him and was like, hold on. It's about to rip off the pants. Stops, tries to punch Riott. Riott avoids that. I think he bounces off the ropes and then grabs Garza's pants.
Yeah.
Which pulls him off.
Yeah, and then Garza just smiles at him. He goes, huh?
And then Riott leapfrogs Garza and then kicks Andrade off the ropes.
Yeah.
It was a
terrific.
pretty great sequence.
Really good stuff.
I think Riott hits a suicide dive after that. We come back from a commercial break. Riott's the one isolated. We get some abdominal stretches. Ray and Andrade get tagged in. Ray is clearing house. Andrade's busted open the side of his face.
Oh, I've been corrected on the Spanish here. He actually said, family is the most important thing to me, but it's not the most important thing for my cousin.
Ah, gotcha. And then Rana from Ray sends Andrade out of the ring. Riott goes to the top of the ring post, tries for a splash. Zelina pulls Andrade out of the way. Riott crashes into the barricade. Another commercial break. We come back. Andrade does a tumble out of the ring. Ray then goes for a 619 on Garza. Garza catches him, puts him in the corner. A couple knees to the ribs, gets 2. Ray makes a comeback with a great-looking destroyer, almost pretty much like a Panama Sunrise. Andrade breaks up that pin. He's tagged in. Hits Ray with that back elbow of his Judas effect. Follows with 2 of the 3 amigos. Ray escapes the third. He gets the tag to Riott. He drops Andrade, goes up top. Andrade knocks him off. Corner knees. Ray breaks up that pin. Garza's in, not legally. He wasn't tagged in. Ray flings him into the ropes. Andrade as well. He hits the 619 on both of them. And then Riott follows the moonsault on Andrade to get the win. It was later announced that that they'll have a match at Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of feel like this is where Riott was going to pick up that win, though. Like, I'm sorry, this episode of Raw, he got that
win,
so
Andrade's not going to.
Yeah.
They'll probably do some sort of walk
There's going to be
finish,
some shenanigans,
and so it's going to set up the 4-way match at Mania.
That's going to be show stealer.
It really should be.
That's going to be good. And this has been a really, really. It's one of those things where, I mean, maybe I don't know if they had plans for Garza to show up without, if the suspension with Andrade hadn't happened. Mm-hmm. But it's just one of those things. Sometimes when they're throwing a curveball, they end up with something better than what was originally planned.
I know.
Because now we get Garza in this, and who knows how his interaction with Andrade is going to shake out. I really hope this is a fatal 4-way.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe even with a ladder.
Hell yeah, man. Quick shot of Beth Phoenix walking backstage, and is announced next week. Street Profits versus Seth and Buddy at Chamber again, as well as Alistair and AJ in a no DQ contest. And then finally, our main event segment, Beth Phoenix walks out to the ring. She's about to provide a medical update on Edge before she can say anything. She's interrupted by Randy Orton. He walks down the ring, offers her a hug. She's like, no.
She's like, what the heck? He offers her, yeah.
And Beth says, you think I'd hug you or shake your hand after what you did to my husband, you son of a bee?
Yeah. Wow.
And Randy just walks to the turnbuckle and perches on top of that.
He's like, go ahead.
And she says, I need a husband. Their kids need a father. I can't remember exactly the term she used. She's about to say something else. Like maybe in some situation, he cuts her off.
Yeah.
And he gets down, grabs the mic, says, in what situation? I'll tell you right now, he's certain that Edge will never wrestle again, and says, Beth, I owe you an explanation. So he talks about going to a WWE show in 1999 with his dad, Cowboy Bob Orton, in St. Louis before he had broken into the business, but he wanted to. And so, he went backstage.
And you see guys like Austin, Taker, Mankind,
Triple H,
and he's like, but there was one guy who came up to my dad and showed him all the respect in the world and said, it's because of you I wanted to get into this business, and that was Edge. And he said he felt so much, Randy said he felt so much pride that to see a superstar come up to his dad, and he said it went from that point, I was just a fan who wanted to get in, to I'm motivated to be the best coming in. Yeah. And it really, he
said his dad introduced him to Edge, and Edge said he shook his hand and said, hey, kid, I wish you luck. Yeah. And Randy said, I'd never forget that. Talks about their feud for the Intercontinental title, and then talks about Rated RKO. And right as they were reaching their peak as a team, Randy did something stupid, dug himself into a hole, and Edge grabbed his hand and helped pull him out and saved his life. And Randy realized the night after the Rumble that Edge was thinking that he was back for good. And he knew that someone was going to make their name, like Randy had done, take an Edge out. And he wanted to be sure that Beth had a husband and their kids had a father.
And he talks about in between those, when he said, he took it out of him, he dug him out of the hole to save his life. He said, it made me realize that I wanted to be a good dad. I wanted to teach my kids what it was like to be respectful and to be good people and to be a father and a husband.
And be there for his kids, sporting events and help them with homework and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Randy says, I did it because I love Edge. I love you, Beth. I love your kids. I love your family. Several times he says, Edge is like a brother to me. He says, but everybody's blaming me for what happened. But Orton says, Beth knows it's not his fault. It's hers because she's an enabler. She pretty much gave Edge his blessing to do this, enabled him to kind of go back to the ring. And so Randy says, I had to step in to stop Edge from coming back. And Orton says, because of that, he loves Edge's family more than she ever could.
Yeah.
And then Beth slaps Randy. He tosses the mic, and he just tenses up. He's coiled to strike. So there's a really prolonged stare down where, the other is waiting for the other one to blink or do something. Yeah. And then Randy says,
you're a bitch.
You're a bee.
Yeah.
And then
she kicks him. He just shrugs it off, drops her with an RKO, and walks out.
Yeah.
And then everybody comes out. We got the Edgeheads coming out. R-Truth, Natalia, a couple trainers. Devon,
Shane Helms.
Yeah, that's right. So they all check on her. And then commentary, especially Byron, just sells the crap out of it. He looks into the camera and says, you know what? She's right. He is a son of a bitch.
Yep.
He crossed the line, and it was a really, really powerful way to end last night's Raw. So really terrific way to amplify this feud.
Yep.
It's obvious that they're taking great care with this one.
Yep.
So let's answer some questions. I want to give some shout outs real quick to some people who have subbed to us. So we're doing these live on Twitch, and then the VOD is heading over to YouTube. So we got some new subs over here on Twitch, and feel free to follow us on the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Let's see here. I'm going back in time a bit. I wonder if I can go back that far.
Dun, 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 dun.
I can't go back that far. So we did it earlier before we started rolling cameras here.
Yeah.
So hopefully those people got there. We'll figure all this stuff out. Oh wait, I wonder if it'll be here. Hold on a second. Oh, this is cool. Hold on. So, oh man.
Oh, there you
Weathered
go.
Souls donated $3 and said, "Hey, Steven Larson, it's Lindsay." Oh, that's right, Lindsay.
Hi.
Just want to say how I appreciate how appreciative and grateful I am of the Friendoverse. Also, to see the lineup for the new season of Dark Side of the Ring. I haven't. I just know that season 2 is dropping soon.
Yeah, the Benoit story's in there.
Ooh, I know the kid who got cut by a New Jack.
Oh, Mass Transit.
I'm pretty sure that's in there.
Over on the Patreon, we got some questions. Alex Foster and Kayfabe. Why are there special guest referees? It seems like they are never unbiased, almost seems counterproductive. And Eric Blaha takes it a step further. This is in a follow-up about the refs. In real life, they have been trained to spot injuries, manage time, direct matches. Do you think guest referees put performers at risk since they might not have that particular skill set? Great question. Could a guest ref recognize a hurt performer?
So I'm going to guess yes. I'm going to say yes. They can. Because I wonder if one of the prereqs for being a ref is you got to know all the wrestling stuff. So if you're a wrestler, it might not be difficult to slide into a ref's position.
I don't know.
That's my guess. We're not wrestlers.
Here's
I'm
the
sure
thing,
a wrestler would know.
Because I'll just use this analogy. I don't know if it's a perfect one-to-one.
I'm gonna ask Cal.
All right. Like how many former players have we seen in various sports become referees? Because you play a sport doesn't mean you're so well versed in the rules that you could enforce them. You know what I mean?
I suspect that it's a lot different for pro wrestling though, where it's a performance.
Oh, I know. But this is strictly in the realm of kayfabe.
Okay, so in kayfabe?
Yeah.
Oh, is this in kayfabe?
It's all in kayfabe.
Oh,
Kayfabe.
they shouldn't be allowed to do that stuff. No, that's separate training. That's
Yep.
completely different.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going for a shoot.
No, kayfabe.
Because I was like, in a performance of like a play, it's probably easy for like a guy who's playing, let's say, Hamlet, to step into the role of whoever Hamlet's dad was, if he's in that play. I forget.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, or Macbeth.
Briefly, maybe, but then his what's his name kills him.
Okay.
Spoiler alert if you haven't read Hamlet yet.
What about Macbeth? There's a dad Macbeth, isn't there?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never read Macbeth.
I'm sure if I'm doing a performance and you're doing a performance, it's like probably kind of easy for me to slip into your performance. Because I'm going to know most of the lines, right? If I know most of the lines, sure.
Well, I think it's probably easier from someone that's in a starring role to go down to someone in a supporting role as opposed to the opposite. Because if you're in a supporting role and you're really only in like a scene.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to worry about that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. But then, okay, so that sort of, if you're a wrestler, you're kind of in a bigger role than a ref, so it's easy to.
Maybe, but again, you get all these rules you got to be well versed in, and maybe they're
What
not.
rules? It's a zine. It's a sketchbook.
This is all kayfabe, man. We're talking in kayfabe. So in kayfabe, there are rules.
Isn't in kayfabe it's still just a sketchbook?
No, maybe. No. I don't know. Anyways, Thomas Dunnigan, does Vince hate Ricochet now, or is this going to be a storyline for Ricochet that ends with him becoming another disciple for Seth, or when he has nowhere else to go? I hope so.
God, I hope so. Dude, I do. Ricochet should not be. Look, as much as I love guys like Apollo Crews and Cedric Alexander, Ricochet is not that. Ricochet should be clearly just in the upper echelon.
Oh, I know.
He really should be.
David Prock, do you think Heyman is right? Is this WrestleMania shaping up to be the most stacked card in a decade? It's got the potential to be really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Hausen says the U.S. title seen on Raw and Lucha House Party in the Chamber on SmackDown. Say what you will about WWE, but they're treating their Latino superstars pretty well nowadays. Yeah, they're doing absolutely, for sure.
Therith Abada, how do we get Larson in that coat? I'm guessing he refers to Becky Lynch's coat.
It's a good looking coat.
I'd wear it.
It's a good.
It looks comfy.
Coat. Jimmy Thomas says segments cut on Hulu, 24/7 match and both women's matches.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Okay.
Logan Finterbush, still like to see Liv become Sister Abigail. It'd be cool to see Liv versus Shayna as final two and lose, and the Fiend come up through the ring and pulls her down under. Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
You can just extinguish your mind of thought. It's not going to happen.
Oh.
It's not going to happen.
That was some cold water right there, but I agree with you, man. Brian Luckman, should this match between Edge and Randy have a stipulation, or should it be a regular match?
It'll probably be a street fight or something.
I feel like it needs to be, it needs to be a stipulation match of some sort.
Dog authority figure. Does Rey Mysterio have the worst gear on the roster?
What?
His mask used to look really cool, but now there's too much going on.
Oh, no.
Weird furry mohawks.
Weird.
Warrior-esque armband.
Oh, love it.
He always had the armbands.
I love it. I think it's all great.
It's just too much for me.
And
I think it's great.
Came out wearing that Eddie shirt. I miss Eddie so much.
I like that he puts some of his gear is very influenced by Virgil Abloh's Off-White brand. I've noticed that.
Oh yeah.
He's had some not that I'm a huge fashion person, but like Louis Vuitton inspired stuff.
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. That dude spends a lot of money on his gear.
Yeah, he does.
Dom, I'm going to take a guess. This is probably a Ruby Riott question.
I'm guessing.
He says, you guys poo-pooed my Ruby prediction in the last few weeks, but look who's ahead in the math going into the chamber after last night. Just saying.
Extinguish your mind of the thought, Dom.
Whoa, calm down. That's okay, Dom.
Extinguish
okay.
your mind of the thought. It's not going to happen.
Extinguish your mind of the thought. You got to use that more often. That could be on a shirt.
James Rodriguez. So who is replacing Beth on commentary for NXT this week?
I would say nobody. So, like, by the end of Raw, she was sitting up.
She didn't get taken out on
She didn't get a concerto.
No, she just hit. She is a wrestler. She just took someone's finisher.
Mm-hmm, yeah, sure.
Professor Dr. Bird, how would Larry Zbyszko have narrated the toy spider reveal from Rowan?
It's a giant spider. It's a giant toy. They bought that at Party City. The Alexhausen again. I think it was Alex C. Oh, yeah, because he just found out about Danhausen.
Oh, he's all about Danhausen.
He's all about it'll be like 3 weeks. That's about how long like the Danhausen honeymoon lasts.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have Taker versus AJ at Mania to put AJ over, or Taker and Alistair Black versus all three of the OC to put Black over?
I think it'd be pretty cool if it was Taker and Alistair Black against the OC. I'd be down with that.
I'd be down with that because it spares Taker from having a singles match.
Mm-hmm.
Gives Alistair Black something to do.
It gives him the Undertaker rub.
And then,
then Carl
Anderson. Yeah, Carl. Well, I was going to say Carl Anderson wins. How about the Carl Anderson rub? You get him over.
And he is the toughest guy in that building.
Right? Take advantage of it.
Charles Hubbard, will Becky Lynch's mega confidence be her downfall? Oh, yes. Hubris. Another one from Charles Hubbard. Should Ricochet ask to go back to NXT? If not, who should?
No, I mean, he didn't do everything he could do in NXT, but, I mean, he won the North American title. No, man, just you gotta find something for him to do.
I know.
You have to.
I know.
You have to.
I know.
And maybe, I mean, look, if this is a reset where he can stop talking about being a superhero and he can stop downplaying how great he is.
I know.
I mean, that kills him in the first place. He's like, I'm not the strongest. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the best. I'm not the fastest. I'm not the most agile. It's like, well, you are three of those things at least.
He's pretty damn strong for his size.
He's pretty darn strong. He's very fast. He's incredibly agile. He's like the most athletic guy they have. I don't know why they'd have him just downplay everything. It's like, so he's not tall. That's the extent of it.
I know.
He's not tall.
He's not tall. Blake Whitehouse, is Randy Orton the best heel? When he's motivated, he's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
He's up there.
Absolutely. Karen here says Ricochet is welcome back at NXT. I think it'd be great. I mean, I'd rather that than him being buried on Raw, but it's like he's already made the move.
Yeah, I know.
Just find something cool for him to do on Raw. Rich Hardesty with the sub. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Where did I leave off here? Wolfpack for life. Who would make a better heel, Ricochet or Cedric Alexander? I've never seen Ricochet work heel before.
We have at PWG.
Oh, briefly for one match. Yeah.
I think that could be great. Like, man, instead of all this, I'm not this, I'm not that. Have him come out and be the cock of the walk.
Yeah, I am this. I am the best.
Give him the arrogance.
Most athletic, the fastest.
How much fun would that be if he's on the verge of beating Riddick Moss? If he beats Riddick Moss, looks at the title and just gives it back to him.
I know.
You know?
Not just that, lays down and puts Riddick Moss's arm over him.
While he's laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny T, more so a SmackDown question, but in kayfabe, why are Lucha House Party in the tag team chamber match?
Oh, because they're so good.
They've been racking up wins on the live event circuit.
W's.
Bookster64, could you guys, since you don't have enough time to watch them, at least read the results of NXT UK on 205 Live sometime during the week? They're still both putting on great matches, such as the I Quit match between Toni Storm and Kaylee Ray, but that was really brutal last week. And on 205 Live, they're building to a 5 versus 5 elimination tag match that pits 205 Live originals versus NXT cruiserweights. I'd still like to hear your take on the shows and events and storylines. I mean, we could just sit here and read results, but without watching the show,
there's no context.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't know context.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah. But if Jack Gallagher keeps on busting out some weird tattoos, that might force me to watch 205,
Maybe.
I'll be honest with
James Fletcher, who will Seth's next recruit be? If not another referee, maybe Ricochet. I think that'd be good.
Please have it be Ricochet.
Samuel L. Bronkowitz. How long before we see Becky in full Godfather gear leading Chippendale dancers around in dog collars and leashes? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, if I'm trying to think of like how far it got with. Okay, so in Rocky 3, he had the public workout, which was just a big sham.
Yeah.
And there was like, I don't know, I think like bikini girl dancers or something there. She needs like a public workout where it's just a total sham and she's like preening for the press.
Yeah.
That's what she needs to do.
Yeah.
And it gets annihilated at WrestleMania.
Yeah, no. Adrian C. ranked the Riott Squad in a list of failed factions, 3 or more members.
Failed factions.
Well, NWO 2000's got to be high on there.
In terms of star power versus like how bad they did, I mean, that was like just the death rattle of the company right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
NWO 2000. Well, this time it'll be silver and black. Who was in NWO 2000? Brett, Jeff, Jarrett.
Who was the third man, brother?
Who was the third man, brother? I think it was like 4. Was Nash in it? Nash had to have been
Nash, Nash was in it. Yeah.
Nosh.
Kevin Nosh. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Who's next?
That's it for questions. No.
That's it for questions. Anyways, I want to say thanks to everybody out there for tuning in. Thanks to our live Twitch crowd. We got Hype Train level 4, I think. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know either.
But it was pretty great. And thanks, everybody, for your support. We appreciate it. Coming up for Patreon members.
And YouTube channel
members. We've got Overrun or Friendo Club TV.
Correct. Get the branding right.
It's Ask Stephen Larson
yeah,
Live. So no wrestling questions.
No wrestling.
That's a fun one.
It is fun.
Anyways, thanks, everybody, for your support. We appreciate it. Till next time. We'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.